Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 5 of the best things about rereads that I'm experiencing right now. I'm making this video mainly because I've been rereading some of my favorite books right now, and I'm just enjoying that process a lot. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. The first best thing about rereading is that you are reading a different story. Okay, obviously most of us reread books which we actually loved reading the first time, and the best thing about rereading is that while you're reading a story, reading a book, you already know the story that's actually happening, and you're just rooting for the way in which the story was made. So obviously you're reading a different story now, right? It's not actually the story which you knew already. You're just building up the world in your mind itself of how this story is going to happen. Certain things that have been dropped down in the beginning of the book make sense during the end of the book? You try to connect the dots, and it's going to help you a lot more, and you'll actually enjoy a lot more doing it in that way. The second best thing is that you get to know the characters even more. Okay, usually for readers who are character driven like me, we actually fall in love with the story if we love the characters a lot. That's a great example for that for me is the Mortal Instrument series, which I finished reading by the end of June this year, and I'm rereading the series right now. I'm going to read all the 6 books and try to finish them by the end of this year again, and watch the TV show Shadowhunters because I loved the series while watching it for the first time, and while rewatching I'll be able to connect the dots from behind as usual. And another thing about understanding the characters is that there are like specific characters which we'll be rooting for in the first read of the book, and while you're rereading, you know that what's going to happen to those characters, and you'll try to understand them better from their point of view and not just from a reader's point of view that you are, and it's going to help you a lot in order to enjoy the world and the characters a lot. And I also think that characters are actually reflections of actual people in the life, and the more you try to empathize with the character, you'll try to empathize more with the people around you also. The third best thing about rereads is that you start to connect the dots backwards. Okay, usually while reading a book, there are certain instances while you feel that this thing has been put down deliberately by the author so that this is going to make some sense towards the end of the book. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Authors do it in such a way that in order to misdirect our attention and then grab our attention with a different twist at the end of the story. But while you're rereading, you're going to try and connect the dots from backwards, because you know this is going to be the result, and what are the lines or things that the author actually puts down from the beginning of the book that actually lead up to the incident that's going to happen at the end of the book. That's something which I love about rereading. And since I'm reading the Mortal Instrument series now, just as I said before, I'm actually getting the ships, the relationships, the romances that are like the main focus throughout the series. There are 3 main romances, Clary and Jace, Simon and Isabel, and Magnus and Alec. All these 3 romances, they are actually instigated from the beginning. From the second they meet, the story of the relationship starts. I didn't understand while on the first read, but now I'm able to understand and connect those things of how they're going to end up together and how all these things are going to make sense. I just like that experience a lot, and that, if you ask me, is a great thing about rereading. The next best thing about rereading is something which I'm so grateful for, especially right now, and it is that rereading a book actually gets you out of a slump. Just as I said before, we all reread books that actually we love, and we had a good time reading them in the first place. I'm actually reading such kind of books right now, and some of them are traumatic and play with the emotions in great ways, but there are certain books which are like total happiness. They are just pure happiness, and I just love those parts of the book a lot because they are so fluffy, they are so they get you into the mood to read, and I just love that experience while reading. The best thing that a book can do to you is to make you pick up another book, and that is something which I guarantee you that rereads will do. The last best thing is actually something which relates most with the wordplay of the authors. While rereading, there are for reading for the first time and getting into the fandom of any series or books as a whole, we get to know some quotes from the books, and while rereading the books, we try to make sense of those quotes at the time when they are said rather than during the end of the story, and we are trying to relate these quotes of how they are going to end at the story. That's something which I like. The intentionality of the authors while putting certain words instead of others, they are just so really good. An example for this, if you ask me, is Harry Potter series. In the second book, we get this diary, and how this diary is actually a major connection with the 6th and 7th books. That's just extremely awesome, if you ask me. A person has sat down and thought through things in order to connect them in this huge entire web, and while you see all of them crystallizing together in order to give you this beautiful moment, that's something which is so beautiful. And rather than in a first read, in a reread, it is going to be at a different, better level, and I just like that experience a lot. Okay, those were all for today, and I think these are the 5 things which I like a lot about rereading. If you're a person who likes rereading, it's great. Do tell me what you like about rereading in the comments below, and if you've not given rereading a chance before, I highly suggest you to do it, because it will just enhance your reading experience as a whole, and help you read a lot more and fall in love with reading a lot more. It might seem like I'm overhyping a lot, but it's true. And that's all for today. If you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.